to my channel. If you are new, my name is Myrna Cunningham, and this is the Cunningham Homeschool Classroom, and I do videos on like homeschool, but every once in a while I'll throw in just like some random videos of like hauls and things like that, and just interests that I have. Today I wanted to talk about what my plans are for the summer. We are now into May. It is the beginning of May. We do school, well, my plan is to do school all the way until like the very end of May. In the past, what I have done is I've actually had school all year round. So I always start in September. I always start right after Labor Day. I start in September and then I would go all the way through August. The reason why I'm not doing that this year is because I found that my oldest just got so sick and tired of school by the time summer rolled around. He didn't want to do it anymore. His attention span just was not there. And when it was time to start school again in September, because we would take like a small couple week break between like August and September, I would give him like 2 weeks of a break. But I found that when it was time to start school in September, he wasn't excited about it. He actually really dreaded it. He did not want to do school. So this year I figured I would not do that. So my plan is that I will be doing school all the way through May. I will give him a little bit of a break for June, and then come right after the 4th of July, I will then do school, but it's not going to be a curriculum. And it's not going to be every day. My plan is probably to do it like twice a week, maybe even just once a week. I do have two boys. My oldest is 7 and my youngest is 3. So I'm going to show you what it is that I have purchased for them to work during the summer. Some of the books if you have seen other videos, you may recognize some of these books, because some of these books were purchased for like curriculum, and I either didn't do them all the way or I just didn't do them at all. I didn't have a chance. So I went ahead and pulled some of those out. So let's go ahead and start with my oldest. So for my oldest, this is what I have, what I would like to do with him. So the first thing is I got this Daily Truth for Kids a while ago, and so we have not done it yet, and so I figured this would be something good for me to do with him that is Bible based. So we are a faith-based homeschool group here, and I got this from the Daily Grace Company. And so what it is it kind of talks about like there's ungratefulness, and then there's like fighting and worry. So it talks about subjects like that, forgiveness. So there's like a little read there for them. And then next to the page, it gives you references of Bible verses or maybe Bible stories that kind of go with the topic. So I thought this is a pretty small book. So this is perfect for the summer because it's not big. I know we can get this finished during the summer. So that's why I went ahead and pulled this out. I figured he is now old enough to where he can understand a lot of the topics in this book. When I had purchased this book, he was still a little too young, I thought, so that's why I hadn't done it with him. So this is the first thing, the Daily Truth for Kids. Next is I picked this up at a curriculum sale, and it's handwriting skills. Now, my son he already knows his handwriting. He has his alphabet down. He has his spelling down. But I really want to work with him more on his writing skills, because sometimes he writes way too fast and he messes up the letters just don't look correct. And I have to keep reminding him, hey, this letter looks like this letter is not right. You need to please fix it. So during the summer, I really wanted to work more on his handwriting and making sure it's perfected a little bit more so it's actually readable. So that's really why I picked this up, the handwriting skills. And there is some cursive in here. We have not started cursive yet, so I'm not going to worry about those pages. Really, I just want I want to work on like the actual like spelling and making sure he does them right to where they are readable. So I picked this up. And another thing that I picked up at a curriculum sale was this 3rd grade jumbo book. This is a big book, and I can already tell you that we are not going to do this whole thing. This is, does say 3rd grade. He has not started 3rd grade curriculum yet. That is the next, he will be in 3rd grade 2025, 2026. But there are some things in here that we have already started teaching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of these pages and I'm just going to rip out the pages. You can rip the pages out. There is an indentation to where you can rip the page out. For example, like we've already started subtracting, into the thousands place. So I would rip this page out, I would give it to him and be like, okay, here you go. Go ahead and work on these problems. It's more of just making sure that he does not forget is really what this book is. So this is mostly math. There's a few language arts things, but I really wanted this one to be more of the math portion. Just making sure he does not forget anything. So the next book that I picked up at the curriculum sale was this Magical Adventures in 3rd grade. And it looks like both of these books came from Walmart. So if I can find them, I will link them. And I will, if I find these, I will link these in the description. I'm not sure how old these are. I guess I could look inside the book to see how old they are. But anyways, so if I find them, I will link what I can in the description. But this is more of what I wanted to use for like language arts / reading. And this is where like spelling, things like that. And so this is more of like, here's like adverbs, nouns, pronouns, things like that. So that's why I picked up this one. So I will do the same thing. This is a thick book. We are not going to do the whole thing. I can already tell you that. Same thing as this one. What I will do is I will just rip out the pages that I want him to work on, and he will work on it. So that's that. My plan is to not start teaching anything new. Like I'm not going to keep going in math during the summer. I'm not going to keep going more into language arts. I really want to wait until we start the curriculum to dive deeper and into more of those subjects. So those 2 subjects, math, reading, language arts, spelling, is just making sure he doesn't forget them over the summer. The next thing that I have is this Science Learn and Explore. I bought this for science for him for a curriculum. So I don't do science with my kid. My husband wanted to be involved more in the homeschooling. So my husband was like, hey, can I do science with him? I said, yeah, if you want to be more involved with homeschooling, that's awesome. Go ahead. So my husband was actually the one that took over the science subject. And so I had purchased this book with the intention of my husband doing this as science, and he never did. He actually found something else, and he said, I'm going to use that instead. And I said, okay, whatever. So I decided to go ahead and pull this out and have him work on some of the things in here. So there are experiments in here, and so that's really what I want to focus on. Is I really want to just do like experimenting with him. And yeah, so we will be doing this book. So some of the topics in this book is like living things, birds, reptiles, plants, flowers, seeds, a lake, some desert, weather, family, solids and liquids. So yeah, this is a very easy, like there's some coloring pages there. This is meant for pre-K, but I think it'll be just good enough for my oldest to work on the experiments and understand the experiments and why we're doing them, but also just being able to just color every once in a while if he wants to. So we will be doing some of that during the summer. And same thing with this one. So this is the science book that he actually used, my husband, with my oldest, except there's a few pages in here that they did not do the projects, some of the crafts. And so I kind of wanted to do the crafts this summer. It's a lot of S's in there. I wanted to do the crafts this summer and kind of refresh him on some of the topics. So yeah, that's why I went ahead and pulled this book back out. Even though they did finish this book, I want to do the crafts that my husband didn't get around to doing. And I think it'll be a fun way to refresh him on the topics that were talked about. So, and then last but not least, and I think this is the main subject that I want to make sure I focus on for the summer with my oldest. My oldest is, he's pretty fluent for a 7-year-old in Spanish. The reason for that is because my parents don't speak English. They only speak Spanish. So when my oldest was young, when my oldest was born, when he was a baby, we actually lived not too far from where my parents lived. So my mom and dad were over at our house a lot, and he grew up with Spanish. And I also only spoke to him in Spanish. So he's pretty fluent. But as he got older, and he got into homeschooling, I kind of stopped talking to him in Spanish. And so I really want to make sure that I get back into that. I really, really want to focus on Spanish. So I started a Spanish binder with him during the school year. I pulled the Spanish binder out. We will be working on the Spanish binder. I also have this complete book of Spanish. I think I have shown this in a previous video. We've done some pages. I've ripped out some of the pages and we've done them. So I want to make sure that we do more of this book. I think the reason why I haven't really done too much of this book is because I actually found that a lot of the things in this book were way too easy for him. He already knew the answers to a lot of these things. And so I think that's why I didn't really do a lot of it from this book. But I do want to make sure that I pull out some pages. I continue to pull out some pages, so it's more of like a review. I also ordered, so another book that you might have seen in a previous video is I had ordered Spanish 1. Well, I recently just had my husband order me Spanish 2, and this is from Carson de Losa. It does say grades 6 through 8, but I did skim through it because I wasn't sure if this is what I was looking for him, or if again this would be too easy. And this is probably right around the level that he is at at with Spanish. So I went ahead and kept this book, and it does focus more on conversations. And so that's really what I want to focus on, is I want to focus on Spanish conversations at this point. So I went ahead and, so here's like an example. So if you can see, it asks you some questions in Spanish. And so, yeah, right now my focus is him speaking Spanish. My focus is not really on him writing Spanish. I never learned how to write Spanish. I learned how to speak it. And I think as I got older, I eventually just taught myself how to read it, and I taught myself how to write it. And so I'm kind of hoping that that will be the case for my kids, to where they speak it, and eventually, just as time goes on and from doing like some worksheets and stuff, they'll eventually just pick up the reading and the writing on their own. So my focus is to actual have conversations in Spanish. I did forget to mention that I got a subscription to Dinolingo, and there will be a video reviewing that later on. Another thing that I picked up, but I haven't printed it out yet because it's actually a really big, like, it's a lot of pages, and I know that I don't have enough ink, and I will post a picture, is I came across this ad on Facebook, and I went ahead and purchased it. I need to print it out, but kind of from what I've seen, because I was able to open the PDFs, kind of the same thing as the Spanish too. There's a lot of conversation topics in there, but it also talks about verbs and adverbs and plurals, things like that, and how you go from one word to another word in Spanish. So I went ahead and ordered that. So yeah, for my oldest, that is what we are going to do. And then I do have a 3-year-old who we have not started a curriculum on. And so for my 3-year-old, I'm kind of just sticking to the same thing that I've been doing with him during the school year. With him, I only have school about 2 times a week, and it's for like 20 minutes at the most, because at that point he's done. His attention span, he's over it. So for my 3-year-old, I'm just kind of doing the same thing as I have been doing. I have his binder here that I have created, his toddler learning folder. So we will continue to do that. And in it is, so I have like beginning sounds there, and let's see. So I also have like some tracing, so he knows how to hold a pencil. Got some of that. I've got like some money worksheets there. I've got days of the week here. And then I also do have number recognition and the alphabets. So there's quite a few things. I've got colors here, shapes, practice filling in the missing numbers, some more tracing. And then I have left and right worksheets, so he can practice his left and right. So I'm just going to continue to do this binder with him, because I really don't want to overload him just yet. He is only 3. I want him to enjoy what he can before we dive into an actual curriculum. So these are just worksheets that I was able to find online. Some of them were free, some of them I did pay for. So yeah, that will be what I do with him. And then I will also be doing this toddler. I picked up my first wipe and clean set, and it's kind of the same thing as what I have in the binder. A lot of it is just tracing. So being able to hold a pencil, a color pencil, a marker the correct way. and then just tracing the pictures. So here's like an example. Okay, so you trace the lines there to make the character. It does do counting on that one. There's also some pages where it tells you to trace the red heart. Please trace the green heart. Things like that. So this is, it does come with markers that are just that you erase. So this is a book that you can use over and over again. So yeah, I went ahead and pulled this out because this was something that was purchased a while ago. And if I'm being honest, I totally forgot about this. I put it in my bookshelf in the homeschool classroom, but I have so much books that it kind of got lost in there. And so then as I was going through my bookshelf, I went ahead and found it. And I thought this would be perfect to do with him during the summer. And then kind of the last thing that I wanted to talk about is I really want to focus on, with my oldest, is preserving foods this summer. We do have a garden, a vegetable garden, and I do can, what is it, Lydia? She wants to go outside, so that's why she's meowing. Everybody's outside right now and she wants to go outside. Anyways, so I do have my own vegetable garden, and I do make my own like pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce. I can my own tomatoes. I make my own jams, jellies, all of that. I do canning. And so this year I really want to focus on showing my oldest how to do that. So that will probably be something we do in like end of July, like all throughout August, is have him help me with canning and showing him how to do it. I want to make sure that as my kids get older, they know how to do this stuff. I am looking into like a mini unit study. I do want to start the Little House on the Prairie books, but I want to start with my first Little House books. And I did find a unit study on, what was it, like, is it Deer in the Woods unit study? I will post a picture here. I'm thinking if we have time in the summer, I will do that mini unit study, but I don't know. Another thing that I have, but this is going to be like a separate video, is I always do a summer reading program with my kids, and there will be a video on that because I do like to make my summer reading program fun. I, growing up, remember going to the library and doing their summer reading program, and I loved it. I looked forward to those prizes, and so I want to make sure that my kids remember that when they're older. Oh, my mom used to do a summer reading program, but she made it fun. So we are doing a summer reading program, but that will be in a separate video that will be up later this month. I still need to finish buying the prizes. But yeah, that is really my plans for the homeschool summer 2025. I don't want to overload them. I want them to enjoy summer. So, I mean, we're probably not going to do every single thing. And I've mentioned that those workbooks are big. Like, I'm not going to stress too much on homeschooling. One, for my sanity, and two, my kids' sanity as well. Like I said, I tried the homeschooling all year. It didn't work out for us. Not saying it's a bad thing, because I've heard of homeschoolers doing that, and that's perfectly fine. If that works for your family, more power to you. So yeah, kind of enjoyed this video and just me showing you what it is that my plans were for the homeschooling year. And so yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you.